April 15, 1895, The Daily Star, Fredericksburg, Virginia. A ripper in Frisco. Ghastly murder of 2 young ladies in a church. The alleged murderer caught. He is a medical student and is believed to have a mania for murder. He was also a Sunday school official and highly respected. San Francisco, April 15. The Emmanuel Baptist Church at Bartlett Street, between 22nd and 23rd in this city, has been the scene of 2 of the most atrocious murders ever committed in the state. On Saturday, the mutilated and murdered body of Minnie Williams was found in the library of the edifice. Yesterday, the nude body of Blanche Lamont was found in the tower of the same church. The same hand, the authorities believe, slew both girls, and W.H.T. Durant, the young man suspected of both crimes, is now in custody. Blanche Lamont and Minnie Williams were members of the Emmanuel Church and members of the Sunday school class. The former was a student at the normal school on Powell Street in this city. The latter was a companion in a family in Alabama, across the bay from the city. They both were 21 years old, brunettes, and pretty and modest girls. Both had been the recipients of attentions from a young medical student named W.H.T. Durant, who was also the librarian of the church and the secretary of the Young People's Society of the church. On April 3rd, Miss Lamont disappeared. Diligent search failed to reveal any trace of her whereabouts, and her aunt, Mrs. Noble, with whom she had been living, was totally unable to throw any light on the affair. Miss Lamont came from Dillon, Montana, several months ago, having been in San Francisco for her health and at the same time to attend the normal school to perfect herself as a teacher. The last person seen in her company was young Durant. On Saturday, the mutilated body of Minnie Williams was found in the library of the church. The girl had been assaulted, and her remains were cut and hacked, the girl having evidently died from loss of blood. On further examination, it was found that she had been gagged, the assailant tearing part of her underclothing and thrusting it down her throat with a sharp stick, badly lacerating the tongue. 2 witnesses state they saw a young man and a young woman, the former answering the description of Durant, and the latter, Minnie Williams, enter the church. Following this clue, the police at once put the residence of Durant under surveillance. Miss Williams lived with friends in Alameda named Morgan, who gave her a home until she could secure a position. She had been a regular attendant of the Emmanuel Church, having formerly lived in that neighborhood, but the separation of her father and mother had caused her to move to Alameda. Friday morning, the Morgan family packed their household goods, intending to leave for Tacoma, and Miss Williams had removed her possessions to the house of Mrs. Voy near the church. Friday evening she was to have attended a meeting of the Young People's Society of the Emmanuel Church at Dr. Vogel's house. At 7:15 o'clock, she left Mrs. Voy's house to attend the meeting, taking a latch key with her. She never appeared there. About this time, Durant left his home on Fair Oak Street in the same vicinity, bound for the same meeting. At 8 o'clock, Durant met Philip Perkins and asked him some questions about a trip to Mount Diablo, which the Signal Corps, of which he was a member, was to make next day. At 9:30, he appeared at Dr. Vogel's residence, where the meeting was in progress, and none were merrier during the remainder of the evening than he. At 11 o'clock, he left with a party of young people and went home. The next morning, Durant arose early and went with his comrades of the Signal Corps for Mount Diablo, 50 miles away. On Sunday, Mrs. Noble, the aunt of Miss Lamont, received through the mail a paper containing the 4 rings worn by her niece the day she disappeared. On the paper were written the name and address of Theodore Durant. This, together with the fact that Miss Williams, an intimate friend of Miss Lamont, had been heard to say that she knew Blanche had been murdered, but had refused to tell what she knew, led the police to suspect that the same one who had killed Miss Williams had slain Miss Lamont, and that learning attempted further concealment by committing a second murder. Late Saturday night, the detectives had about decided Durant had murdered Miss Williams, and this theory was further strengthened yesterday after making a thorough search of the Emmanuel Church. The dead and outraged body of Miss Lamont was found concealed in the steeple. Death had been caused by strangulation. The body was lying just inside the door of the lower room, nude and on the floor. Around the neck were blue streaks, the marks of fingers that had been pressed deep into the tender flesh. The mouth was open, showing the regular teeth. The features were badly distorted, being drawn, and the lips were swelled and blood-stained. Durant was arrested last evening at Walnut Creek, on the road to Mount Diablo. He was caught by Detective Anthony, who left in pursuit of him early in the morning. The police are certain they have the right man. Durant is about 23 years of age and was born and raised in the neighborhood in which the murder occurred. He is a graduate of the Cogswell High School and has been studying medicine for a year. He was a member of the 2nd Brigade Signal Corps and was assistant superintendent of Emmanuel Church Sunday School. The police think Durant is another Jack the Ripper, with a mania for murder. They state that it is highly probable that Durant is responsible for the killing of Eugene Ward, a young drug clerk who was found stabbed to death several months ago in the store where he worked. No trace was ever found of the assassin, and the theory is that Durant killed him.